This painting was a really interesting one. I kind of went in with no plan. Sometimes I have a theme or a few things I want to do, but I just wanted to start. I got a new canvas that I like, one of the ones with the thick edges, so I just started painting, doing some shapes. But what makes this one interesting is the first day that I was working on it, doing some shapes, doing some aspects. I didn't really have anything on my mind, pretty normal day. Then the second day I was working on it is when I was feeling a lot of frustration. A bunch of stuff was going wrong. And one of those days where you're just doubting everything you do. And it's kind of cool how you can see the colors and themes kind of shift to how I was feeling. So I'm just going to kind of walk through the process of what I was doing and kind of what I was feeling during it. And we can see if we can bring this painting together and make a cool kind of abstract doodle piece. I was starting off with a few aspects that I like doing and wanted to try that kind of globe in the circle with some cool lines. And then I like having a black part of the painting with some lines down and then adding some color throughout it. Sometimes I make it into like a little window or something like that, but now I'm just starting to add some colors into it. I like using this dark blue that I mixed. It goes well, especially with red, so I'm going to blend that together and adding colors to that little kind of line area with the black. I thought the red would go well with it, so I'm going to add colors to that. I'm not going to add every color, like one of the aspects where I usually do that. I'm just going to keep it a few and probably stick to the darker blended ones. It's kind of funny, sometimes with high quality canvases, I start off really passive and I do a few planned out doodles or aspects that I want in it, and they don't go very well because I'm so nervous to make a mistake because it's an expensive canvas or it's one that I want to be really good, and I don't like that. So with this one, I just started doing some shapes, so then I'm gonna go from there. I find I do my worst paintings that I don't enjoy and don't like the look of when I'm nervous to make a mistake or I want to really stick to it. That's why I don't do landscape stuff. First of all, I don't really think I can do that. It's all the details and the realism I find quite difficult and I don't enjoy it. It just gets me frustrated. But for this one, I just wanted to be a little more freeform because I didn't want to be so nervous to make a mistake that I'm just kind of painting a painting for the sake of it. So I'm just slapping on some colors and shapes, and pretty soon you'll see the change where the next day I'm painting, I'm quite frustrated with everything. And you can definitely sense that in even the way I'm painting itself. Sometimes the brush strokes are a little more aggressive or not planned out. And interestingly enough, it's actually when I usually do my best paintings. It's when I'm feeling kind of frustrated, or not even necessarily frustrated, but any type of emotion strongly. And that's why I started painting in the first place. So it's a really good outlet to do, and I'm happy that I'm back to doing it. So it'll be interesting. You'll get to see that change and that switch up. I'm also going to not talk as much in this video. I know I have been in the first few minutes here, but I'm going to let more silence happen and just kind of give the space to see the painting process. Let me know if you like talking more or talking less, or a nice balance. And for this one, I'm not going to just talk for the sake of it. So you'll just see me kind of filling in some colors and adding more little details here. I mixed this kind of brownish yellow color, and I like how it looks, so I'm going to use that in a few sections in the painting. It's a good color that's a good base to add other colors on, whether it's blending or little textures. So I like that one. It's kind of newer than the ones I've been using. I use one as a base, but I like this one. I don't know how to describe it. It's a little darker than the other one. The other one I think is a little more gold. So I'll be using that one throughout it. I also wanted to use some colors that weren't mixed. I wanted to use some brighter reds and purple. I find purple's a good base color, especially when you add brighter colors on it. So I'm using it in small parts and then having a few larger parts with it. I don't want a lot of it or majority of the background purple, but it acts as a nice little change up to the color scheme. I wanted to add another large section of that brown yellow color. I wanted to do a cool little design on top of it, and what's nice about this color is it seems like any other color goes well on top of it and kind of pops out. So it's a good little color to have as a background, but also as a small one within different aspects. So I'm going to use that throughout it. I'm going to use it actually a lot more than I originally planned to. And it's kind of nice because it's a different shade than what I usually use. So it'll give the painting kind of a different feel to a lot of my other recent ones. So this is the second day of me doing this painting. And as I mentioned before, my mood totally shifted and I was a little more frustrated with things going on. So the style of the painting kind of changed. And it's kind of cool to look back and see that. I was using kind of darker colors, didn't really feel like doing as many planned out things, and kind of went with more, I don't know, just patterns and styles. And it's interesting too, because now when I look back at this one, I have a lot of cool kind of darker color schemes and patterns. And in the third day, when I was pretty happy, things are going well, it goes back to the kind of more planned out or seeing aspects in the way that the paint dried and doing those kind of cool brighter elements. So it's interesting when I do paintings over the course of a few days when you can see the emotion change, and I like it because I can look at a painting and see one part of it and know exactly what I was kind of thinking and feeling at that time. And you see another part of it, you know, that was a few days later, and it's just kind of a cool visual representation of what was going on through my mind at that time. So pretty much for the rest of this day, I was just filling in colors and picking some bright ones, but mainly some dark blended ones. And I wanted to fill in a lot of the painting. But then the third day is where I kind of bring it together and bring in some of those kind of cool abstract designs and doodles that look planned out for some of them, but weren't. And I really enjoy that part where I can just kind of see shapes that are close to each other and see that it could be a kind of style or an element or a face. But this second day, I was just kind of painting and filling in colors with not a ton of planning. And I did enjoy the colors that I was choosing and kind of having some ideas on things that would look good and different kind of doodles that I could add that are on a larger scale or smaller scale. But for the rest of this day, I was just kind of mainly just painting in and filling in these large parts that weren't covered. I wanted to make this side of this kind of large area a cool blend of this brown and the dark red, and then have it kind of leak into that light blue. I'll probably go back and kind of touch up a little bit of the blending when I put in some other layers, but I like it like this where it's not always specific, one color here, one color there, and it's definitely something I want to be doing a lot more. So now I'm just finishing up this second day of painting and filling in more areas. By now I was getting kind of a feel of where I wanted the painting to go and saw some aspects that I'll fill in, but I was adding a little bit of orange. I went back the next day and added more orange. You'll see that in a few minutes here. I find if I add one part of one color, I don't really want it just to be standalone, so I have to add it at least 2 or 3 times throughout the painting. I find it looks a little odd if it's just one kind of area that has a color. So yeah, I'm just finishing up this second day here, and you'll see it looks a lot more filled in than the first day, but no kind of real doodles or aspects that I put in today. So now we're on to the third day of me painting. I was in a completely different headspace now. I wasn't as frustrated and angry at the world as I was the day before. The reason why I was so frustrated was my car that I just got in March. The transmission fully failed. And you think you're a chill person and life's going well until you have car trouble. And that brings out the worst in everyone. And I just had a car that totally died on me in March. And then this just sent me back and sent me in a complete spiral. So yeah, but today I was feeling a lot better and doing some more kind of bright and happy aspects. I wanted to do that little triangle guy. I've done it in past paintings and mentioned it in past videos, but I really like doing white and yellow on darker background colors. And for this one, I was seeing some cool little areas and shapes where I could add some faces that aren't the usual classic kind of angle and shape. So I had that one in the top corner kind of going around the area where I'm going to add stars. And I'm just working on some more color blending in some of these spots too. So now I'm just adding a few more kind of bright aspects to it. It's funny how you can see the mood is better because I'm wanting to do more kind of pop aspects that kind of pop out more and are more bright and colorful and happy. And you can tell that when I'm kind of either have like kind of an empty mind or feeling good about things, the colors I choose are so much happier. The little faces I draw are happier. I find I'm more wanting to kind of take time into certain aspects and details. Whereas when I'm frustrated, it's more just big shapes, kind of abstract, darker themes. But this one, I'm just adding more bright little areas, doing some lining. And I'm going to try in almost every little open space of color I see, doing kind of little doodles within doodles. So in this eye, I'm adding some stars. The white looks good on the purple, and just kind of doing that whenever I see an area to do like a little, either a landscape, scenery, or a face that I see or a shape that I see. And I like how it's coming together. I really like how it's looking so far. I think this is going to be one of those paintings that I take a lot longer than I thought, which is a good thing. Usually the paintings that I do about 30, 40 hours on, I really enjoy looking at because it just gives you so much more to see. I like doing the paintings where if you look at a section for a few minutes, you can see something different, or then look at the whole painting, you can look at it for a long time. So I'm just doing that, kind of adding these horizontal lines onto that kind of grid area with some like other colors running down. Kind of want it to look like a window, so I'll probably add some more detail after I add colors. But I'm just kind of experimenting with different aspects. Some of them I've done on different paintings, but not to this level of detail. So I'm just trying to kind of test things out and see what looks good. I'm adding a little bit of light blue. I think that would look good and kind of break up some of that white spot there. So I want to have it super light, so I just used a bit of paint. And then I'm going back and lining some more details just so they pop out a little bit more, especially the ones that I'm having as a part of a face. So this little area I want to have as a part of a face. So adding another cool little shape here, and I kind of didn't really know what I was doing with it. I just thought I'd do a cool shape, but I come back to that one and I actually like how it looks. So a lot of times in my past paintings, I would do just kind of black or white and kind of leave them nothing inside. But I've been liking a lot more of the aspects within the background than painting it on top as well. Sometimes it is nice just to leave it kind of looking like a doodle with just a line, but I like painting colors within the little shapes within as well, and it just looks a little more detailed than if I just put in one color like a little black doodle with no colors inside. So I still need to find out what kind of color I want inside the little chains, but for now just doing a little more details. And it's interesting too because at this point of the painting it's all covered, but I think I'm maybe not even halfway through for the level of detail and extra little elements that I want to add. So now I'm doing some more lining and gonna add more colors within these as well. I like the parts of the painting where it's a certain kind of design and I have like 5 colors within it, especially if they're not clashing and there's a good mix. I really like the way it looks and it's just way more detailed and more fun to do. I'm also realizing as I'm editing this that not even being halfway through, this is going to be a very long video, so I'm going to try out making this in 2 parts. So this will be part 1, which kind of covers day 1, 2, and 3 of painting this one. And then part 2 will be the next however many days it takes and showing how it is completely finished up. Or then I'll probably do a time lapse with both parts together as well with no voiceover, so you can just see the full process. So wrapping up day 3 and part 1 of this video, I'm just doing some more colors within the designs and trying to give it more of that layered look. And then I'll probably go back and do some other ones as well and add just some texture to it. But I like how it's looking. I like the amount of detail, and I kind of like how you can see the different moods I was in throughout the days. So it's kind of cool to do these longer paintings that take up to a week, because you can see sometimes I'm in the same mood for the whole week. Sometimes it's every day is different. But yeah, I'll probably end this part here and show you kind of how it looks like at the end of day 3. But thank you for watching this first part. Second part will probably come out in a few days. And I really appreciate any feedback that you have on the videos or the speed. If you want to see more of the kind of sped up ones or less of them, please let me know. So yeah, here is how it's looking so far, and I'll be posting part 2 soon.